So now, what do we have here? What we have here is when God tries to talk through a human soul. When has this been done? Well, your governments know of the soul. They do know even who he is. They know what he is, and they do know that, well, he can predict quite a bit about this future. In fact, the last 4 years, well, he has predicted just about everything from just about anything. And now this world is terrified. Well, at least the government is, because what will God say through this soul? What will he talk about? Well, look around. Does anything make sense? Even now, just about everybody runs from a clown. Or is it from a clown, or is it maybe from a hurricane? And even a hurricane can paint an evil face. Well, you've seen that face. You've seen that skull with the mashing teeth. Think about it. Well, that hurricane was Dean Matthew. Hurricane Matthew. You never thought about looking into the chapters of the New Testament of Matthew and trying to figure out maybe it might well be a code? Well, it was, and the soul figured it out. God does talk to this soul. Your governments know this. He practically has had everything correct in the last 4 years. About 400 things you ask, 400 out of 400 things. Why? That's like winning the lottery 10 times in a row. Why these shades? Why not? He was on your radio show in Las Vegas, 10:60 a.m. God did talk to him, and now your preachers and now your churches, they know, and now their radio station knows, and your government even knew him before he was on that radio station, because they know that it is God that now talks to him, because everything he predicts becomes true. And now they heard that now you are in level 2 revelation. What is level 2? Why would God call it level 2? Where is it in the revelation it says level 2? He just knows that you love your video games. Level 1, well, you see what level 1 was like. In the last few days, well, now you experience level 2. And as you can see, just like a video game, it gets harder. It gets quicker. It gets more demanding and more difficult. And yes, more catastrophic. And even in that Hurricane Matthew, you might have to ask yourself, that evil face, the one with the teeth, where was that? Well, Matthew, Hurricane, chapter 24:30. There's your clue. And as you go to 24:30, which is not in Revelation, which is in your New Testament, clues. God loves clues. Sorry, I'm talking through this flesh body, through the Son of God, so sometimes here and there we'll get a little mixed up. It's not an easy thing to do. And we've been through this test no different than the times of Jesus. God has talked through Jesus. And sometimes it was Jesus himself and talking. And that's why everybody followed him around. Sometimes he was arguing with God. Sometimes he was laughing at God's jokes. And he just wanted to know, well, what was it that God just told him? No different than now. So now we repeat history, 2,000 years later. And what did that hurricane do? You don't know what it's going to do. You don't know where it's going to go. You can't even figure it out. It looks like 2 hurricanes, looks like one goes in a circle. Where will it go? You don't know. Because now God is fused into this whole entire world. And now he controls your world. It's a whole different ballgame now. What you could done and do in the past can't be done anymore. It's up to God. Whether you allow somebody to do something wrong, that's up to him. What are his reasons? Well, you took God out of your government. You slowly took God out of its schools and even out of your Constitution. Well, now you have God to contend with. Without God's protection, how much protection do you have? No, this is God talking through a human soul, which he has done in the days of Jesus. Sometimes it was Jesus that did talk to you directly, and the soul can talk to you directly, and even the radio stations do know that. But then sometimes God might talk through him, and then talk to you. And he did do this in the days of Jesus. And even then, Jesus was a test that you did get wrong. How did you get it wrong? That was the Son of God that you tortured, and you did get it wrong. And the ones that did torture Jesus, the Son of God, well, I know now you are regretting it. What would your civilization be like right now if you did not torture Jesus? I want you to know that there are other civilizations out there. Yes, there are. And your governments do know that now. And you can tell by their behavior and the way they're trying to do just about anything to get any spaceship off this ground, to get any satellite, to get anything that they can hear, or they can see, or they can go to. God has made it abundantly clear that there is something else out there. And if you don't believe that, well, then you must say that God is a complete, utter fool. But God is not a fool. He is pure genius, then maybe you are a fool. Yes, there are other civilizations out there. It's not an easy thing to try to talk through a human soul. I just want you to know that, and maybe that's why these shades are on. The thing is for you to try to believe that somehow God is now talking through the soul. I did say that he did get things right. How many things did he predict? About 400 things in the last 4 years. At this current count, he's about 400-0. What are the odds of that? About winning 10 lotteries. Why did God make it that way? He made it that way on purpose so your governments would know that God is talking to this soul, to a chosen son of God. We knew that this day would come. It did actually happen even on the radio, 10:60 a.m. Everything that you see in front of you, everything that is happening now, he told you it would happen months ago. He told you about the volcanoes. He warned you of all that seismic activity. He warned you of the earthquakes. And now, well, you see your government's there. They know about that San Andreas Fault. God keeps on warning you. And now you see, well, when you look up in the sky, you might see something you've never seen before. Not only that, your sun. Is your sun just a sun or maybe a launching pad of doom? Well, your electromagnetic field is very weak. What could God do? That sun could be a launching pad or not a launching pad, that's up to God. Or maybe that's up to you. You can believe that this is all real. A test of faith, God does test all. Everybody down here. Even his own angels, even his own sons. Why should he not test you? Even your governments, will you bow to God and start believing that there is a God? God was gone. Your heavenly Father was gone for many years, but where was he? He has other planets to tend to, other civilizations, and you did hear me correct. Yes, civilizations. Some we weaker than you, but some way more far advanced than you can utterly imagine. Well, your government knows they're there. They know something's there. Why can't you get to them? Without God's blessing, you won't. The Son of God knows where these planets are. It's in his head. So now this is a test for, well, even down to the churches, even down to your governments, even down to you. You might have thought there was not a God, but now everywhere you look, if it's not a mosquito or a clown or an earthquake or a volcano, you're terrified, aren't you? The end times, they call it. Or did they call it Revelation? God likes to call it, well, Revelation level 2. Well, how many people can survive level 2, and then there will be a level 3, and then a level 4. So many secrets God could tell you. He could tell you just about so many secrets, so many things. But you have to earn this right. First test is for you to believe that there is a God. Why did he choose to speak to you, the Son of God, right now? Well, the Son of God has done quite a bit of things for God in the past. But for you to believe that, you actually would have to believe in past lives. And even to God's amazement, he found out that even some of his preachers don't believe in past lives. But it's right there, in bold print, even in Abraham and many other times, when the dead rise. Is that not a past life? And even down when it comes down to even many of the passages in the New Testament, yes, there are past lives, and I can take the soul of a human and even cram it into a cat if I'd like. And I have done. Oh, I like to test souls. There's many things that I'd like to do. What I would do as a treasure, or maybe even a gift to many of you, is this. God will tell you many secrets. And there is one secret, and that is one of hell. And when God talks about hell, well, I guarantee you a great many souls down here, you will change your ways. And you will change your ways maybe within seconds when you learn about hell. And even now, I even suggest you to even try to take your Ouija boards, whatever it is that you try to do, to try to conjure up Lucifer. Won't work. Won't work. Who is Lucifer? Lucifer, well, was once a mighty archangel. He is actually the Son of God. God controls Lucifer. And, well, I did let Lucifer out of his cage, and now he will run rapid. He answers to his Father, God. It's not good for you, no. But God did build hell, and he needed someone to run hell. And even his own son lost that game. And even his own son has said many times, please, Father, let me get the hell out of hell. I won't discuss hell in this video. I will in some other videos that come up. But trust me, when you learn about the many levels of hell, you will turn to God quite rapidly. But I won't even go there. What if you were to make God happy? What if you already have been talking to God, or you have been turning to God? Well, Revelation could be a whole new beginning for you. See, in the end, there is a city of God, but God never exactly explained what God is, or what the city of God is, or even what it could be. Is it the end or the new beginning? What exactly is out there? Is it just you? You actually think that Earth is the only civilization? Well, let's just say there's over 1 trillion stars. There's billions and millions of planets, and you actually think that you're the only one where there is life. Then you actually would have to say that God is a complete, utter imbecile. But no, far from that. God is pure genius. Even more than that. He's grown much stronger now. He is now the size of 2 planets. And if you notice, I might talk back from the third person to the first person. I am talking through a human soul, no different than I have done in the days of Jesus. Yes, sometimes Jesus himself would talk. Sometimes I would talk through him. Why now? Why not? It's time. Why? God has no concept of time. God can see in the future. How can he do this? God has no time. God can travel through portholes in space. He can travel through other dimensions. He can get through one side of the whole entire universe within a couple seconds. How can he have a concept of time? God creates time. So what I am saying to this world is this. As God talks through a human soul. He's not talking in the clouds, but he could. But would that not be too easy? A test of faith. He has tested your faith other times, and he tested your faith on that radio station. And how many in Las Vegas do realize that